Day 326 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 347, top K frequent elements. The difficulty level is medium, but don't worry because we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go in and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. Given an integer array nums and an integer k, return the k most frequent elements. You may return the answer in any order. All right, y'all, that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples so we can make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have the input nums equals an array of integers 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, k equals 2. The output is 1 and 2. The output is 1 and 2 because since k equals 2, we want to find the top k frequent elements. So in this case, we want to find the top 2 frequent elements, or the top 2 elements that appear the most times. So in this case, we can see there are 3 1s, there are 2 2s, and there's 1 3. So that means the ones appear the most, right? That's the top element. But we want to find the top 2 elements because k equals 2. So there's 2 2s and there's 1 3, which means that 2 is the second top element, right? So 1 and 2 are the 2 top elements, or the 2 elements that occur the most, right? With 1 occurring 3 times and 2 occurring 2 times. So we're going to return 1 and 2 because these 2 elements appear more than any other element in the array. Now, so now let's go ahead and take a look at example 2, where in example 2, the input nums equals 1, k equals 1. So we just want to find the top 1 element. In this case, there is only 1 element, so the output is 1, right? Since there's only 1 element and k is equal to 1, then we just return that element, and that element just happens to be 1. So, all right, y'all, now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution, y'all. And as you know, the solution is going to be as simple and easy to understand as possible. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to create a dictionary to store the frequency of each number. So in order to do that, we're just going to declare a variable, and we'll call it frequency dict, and then we'll set that equal to a dictionary of integers, right? So the key will be an int, then we'll say colon, and the value will be an integer as well. Then we'll come outside of that and initialize it with 2 parentheses like that. So now we're going to start a for loop. We're going to say for num and nums. Then we're going to open up the brackets. And if the number already exists in the dictionary, then we're going to increase its count. So to do that, we're going to say if let freq equals frequency dict square bracket num, then what we are going to do is we're going to open up the brackets and we're going to say frequency dict square bracket num equals freq plus 1. Then otherwise we can just initialize its count to 1. So we could come right here and we could say else, open up the brackets. So if there's if the number does not already exist, or the count has not started yet, we could just start the count at 1. So we could say frequency dict square bracket num, come outside the square brackets, and we could just set that equal to 1 to start our count, or for a default value. Boom. Now we're going to come underneath this for loop, and we need to create an array of lists to act as a bucket for the frequencies, and the index will represent the frequency, and then the array at that index is going to hold the numbers with that frequency. So in order to do that, we can declare a variable, we call it freq array, and we can set that equal to an array. Open up the parentheses, it's going to be a repeating colon, an array of integers. So this is just for the default value, y'all. Then we're going to put the parentheses, we'll say comma, count, colon, and it's going to be up to nums dot count plus 1. Now we need to start another for loop, and we'll say for num, open up the parentheses because we have to pass in the key and the value. Y'all. So we'll say for num comma freak, come outside the parentheses, we'll say in frequency dict. We'll open up the brackets, and we're going to append the number to the bucket corresponding to its frequency. So in order to do that, we just say freak array. Then we'll open up the square brackets. We'll say freak inside the square brackets, and we'll say dot append, open up the parentheses num. Now we need to extract the top k frequent element. So in order to do that, first we're going to need to create a variable to start checking from the highest possible frequency. So we'll declare a variable called count and set that equal to nums.count. Boom. Then we need in the result array to store the k elements, right? Because as you can see, the output is stored in an array, so we need to create that array. So in order to do that, we could just say var res equals an array of integers, come outside of that and put parentheses like that. Boom. Now we're going to say while, open up the parentheses, res.count is less than k, then we'll say and count is greater than 0. We'll come outside the parentheses, open up the brackets, and we need to add all elements from the current frequency bucket to the result list. So we can say res plus equals freak array square bracket count. Boom. Then we're just going to decrement count and move to the next lower frequency. So we'll say count minus equals 1, just like that. And now we need to still need to return the top k frequent elements. So in order to do that, we just come outside of this while loop and we say return res, just like that. Now that should be all you wrote, y'all. Let's give it a run. Make sure it runs properly. Let's see. And it's accepted first try. So let's go ahead and submit it. See if it still stays accepted after we submit it, because we all know how LeetCode can get. Ooh, okay, we got 3 milliseconds beats 53.22% of users with Swift, y'all. Don't worry, we'll get those numbers up as we continue down our LeetCode journey. Right now, we just want to be able to solve the problem that is presented to us, and I feel like this is a good solution for that, because it's important to understand the solution that you're writing so that you can use that knowledge further down when future LeetCode problems, right? So if you don't understand the solution, then you won't be able to use what you learned in future LeetCode problems. So right now, we're still just strengthening our fundamentals, working on the basics, and I figured this is a good solution for that. So with that being said, y'all, make sure y'all get one more look at the code. One more look. This is the top half. This is the bottom half. And yeah, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.